So the World Cup is 8 days away. Ghana Black Stars will face Croatia, England, and Panama in the reverse order. They will face Panama, they will face England, and they will face Croatia. How well will the team do? I have three of the best in studio. I have Jerome Mocheri, former Kotoko Express editor. That's a big post, by the way. These days he speaks for the Presbyterian Church. We also have Sami Bartels, who's a telecom executive, but also a very experienced sports journalist, and Rahman Osman, who works for the Sun newspaper. He's with the Black Stars right now. Let me take yesterday's game, and Jerome, start with you. Yeah. He started with Mensah left back, Opoku and Ajete in centre back, and Senaya in right back. Yeah. And of course he changed them. Which defenders impressed you yesterday, and what do you think the coach will? Who will be the coach's top four at the back?
Opoku, my namesake, Jerome Opoku.
Centre back.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I think so. I think all of them did well, even including Baba. Mm-hmm. The problem, however, is Baba doesn't seem to have that fan favorite thing. And so all the commentary, even leading to the goal, was like people were looking out for something to use against him. And unfortunately, it happened. And even seeing the replays, I've asked myself, was it really a Baba thing? Because the ball left someone before even Baba came in. So I think we should be fair to the guy. I have been one critic of him because I believe that his managers didn't help him. And his managers are managers of the FA. Yeah. They just didn't help him.
In terms of the teams he chose to go to and all those things?
No. When they introduced him to the Black Stars, I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that Baba wouldn't have been part of the first Black Star squad he was under CK if Ket wasn't the FA president. I'm so convinced.
So he wasn't ready at the time?
Yeah, I think so. And that has contributed to that bad press he has. And it will take a lot to carve that away. Okay. Otherwise, I'm okay with what I saw.
Did Ajete do well?
You know, the problem for me is I looked at these boys in the light of what I've seen of others do. Mm-hmm. And I'm satisfied because if Jiku and the rest were fit, I mean Jiku in particular was fit, that is defensive setup would have changed.
Yeah. So Jiku is our preferred centre back.
Exactly. And that would have changed everything we saw at the back. So maybe it's not fair using
to take them individually.
But I think that having a coach who is also defensive minded definitely will shape how they perform.
What about Senaya?
Brilliant.
He did very well.
Yeah, I mean, let's not look down what these guys have done, because you see, it takes a lot to play for the Black Stars. Yeah. And I've heard a lot of reviews. I don't even want to make it my opinion, because we are always going to be biased towards a certain line. But what I hear the fans say that, look, these guys gave their best. If they are going to have more opportunities, and that's why I agree with Rahman when he says he wished we would have a second game.
We need another game,
not just for the goalkeepers. I mean to see who is best to fit the starting lineup, but for all of them, so you can probably
assess them.
Yeah, assess them well and say, look, 2 games, this is enough. Let's decide on these boys and start with it.
Let me do this one, Rahman. Rahman, defense. Who impressed you in defense yesterday?
Now that's again another difficult question for me, because
Lord.
I saw the game differently. I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, the defense was good." I didn't think the defense was good. We put so many men in front of the back, the central defense. So when you put 10 men behind the ball, and your emphasis or where you put the pressure on is the passing lane in front of the box, what you do is that you expose your your fullbacks. So that was what happened. If you watch the game very well, Opoku and Ajete were very protected by Elisha and Thomas. So Thomas picked up a yellow card. Thomas picked up a second. If it was at the highest level of the World Cup, he would have been sent off straight away. Yeah. That's the point. That's a game changer. I'm telling you, that sending off at the World Cup would have
be a game changer. Yeah.
Nothing would have happened. Anyway, I had a conversation off record with the manager, and I said to him straight, if you're going to play this way, you have to find a way to swing a bit more. And when I say swing a bit more, you have to have players who sprint into attack to help the attack straight away.
Yeah.
one of the problems we've had fundamentally under Otto, before Otto, Chris Hilton, whatever, is that we put so many men behind the ball. Whenever we have a chance to attack, we don't have enough men in attacking position to head the team. So every now and then you'll have one guy does very well and everybody raise him. Everybody forgets that against Germany, Ajete caused the penalty and it was like his ball was crashing off. We've had a new manager who's come up to set 4 people and another 4 wall in front of them. Nevertheless, the central defenders were good. But for us to really be good, this is only the foundation. I like that Jerome Opoku plays in Turkey. Plays. I mean, his team every now and then is trying to compete for Champions League football.
Yeah.
So a game against Wales, who half of them were thinking about holidays because they haven't qualified for the World Cup. It's not something I look up and I get excited. Really gutted by that performance. Listen, when the Wales manager came into the press conference, I read the stats to him. Do you know what he told me? He said his team was rubbish. They had 66% possession against us.
And yes, he said they were rubbish.
He said they were rubbish. He said he normally aims for 68% possession dominance.
Wow.
We had what we had was literally nothing. And at the World Cup, this is literally a friendly. Maybe 40% of the stadium was filled. Most of these players are literally like disappointed they didn't go to the World Cup. And we played against them as if they were prime England. So the team, you can look at the surface and go like, okay, this guy had this clearance and all that. But if we narrow it down to what football is, because football, they would argue, okay, it's not about how you play, you just have to defend and take your chances. But Ghana fundamentally doesn't score a lot. It's because everybody wants to defend. But the challenge is that defending is good, but those who have mastered the art of winning games is that they defend, and they still pose very difficult questions to the opposition. When we saw Nyoma coming with his pace, his electric pace to prove a point, because he hasn't played football the whole season and the whole country is questioning his inclusion, he got excited and it was one of his runs that led to the goal. So I'm not going to go to Ben and say, okay, this defender did well and nailed on a position, because I just thought that they were aided by the way we set up. All
right, let's talk about your namesake, Baba Rahman. You've interviewed him more than most. You know him very well. Where is his mind? And I heard he had a very good season. I'm told his record this season has actually been good. So I was surprised Ghanaians were complaining about his inclusion. What's happening with Baba Rahman?
I genuinely think the issue of Baba Rahman, we should do another show, honestly, on your show. Because Jerome used to be editor of Kotoko Express. So Jerome will understand the history of why Baba Rahman is such public enemy number one.
I wrote on it 2 days ago.
When Baba Rahman was first booed in Ghana, it happened in Kotoko Stadium in Kumasi. It's funny because Baba was my favorite in Kumasi. And if you know the history of Kotoko and Kotoko fans, they never turn against their own. It's such a historical situation that goes, and this is why Baba decided not to play, because at first he thought it was about him. It's not about him. It's about his handlers. And you asked a very brilliant question at the beginning, that why is there no interest in the Black Stars like before? One of those reasons is that there's just a break between those who handle the Black Stars and the Black Stars. So there's this deliberate or like conscious effort that has been made over the years, that the trust between call-ups, how they handle the national team, Ghanaians don't trust it. And that affects players that are called up. That affects morale. Listen, before the FA president left, I had a chat with him. Do you know what I asked him? He was literally saying, and I said to him, why did we not get the president to give these young players a presidential handshake before they out to America?
To give them confidence.
Turkey flew out players to go to the World Cup. Brazil have won the World Cup how many times? But Brazil put up a show baptizing the flight that took the Brazilians to the World Cup. There's a do you know what it would have meant that the president was in London 2 days ago? The president made time to see these young people, gave them a good speech before all of them went to America. That would pick up the vibe in Ghana.
So they didn't do that? They couldn't be the president even though they were in the same country?
Well, they left. They've just left. They've flown
my
on
God.
a jet from Cardiff to go. They didn't meet the president.
Oh, that's too bad.
They've just gone and so the point I'm telling you is that now you just don't expect things to happen. You have to be deliberate about them. You need to conscientize the mind of Ghanaians. You need to build that kind of trust.
All right.
So all those things have culminated in what Baba is now. And just to end, I know you know, I mean, his mind now is ready because he already knows that there's absolutely nothing that he's going to do that is going to please a certain section
Of the team. All right, the fans.
No, the media.
Let me ask Sami, what's your assessment of the defense? And are you able to pick your top 4 defenders for the in terms of whatever formation? Do you even know what formation you play? That's the question. I don't even know.
I'll try. First, let me just weigh in briefly on the Baba situation to say that there's a difference between criticism and abuse. And some people have overstepped. There's no justification for that. They did it that, they are doing that now. And people should be careful because these players have families. There are people who care for them, you know. And even much more famous players have crumbled under this. In 2008, Asamoah walked out of the Black Stars camp. You know, I was discussing this not too long with him. And it's still something that's painful for him. So we should be careful the extent to which we pour vitriol on these players because they are humans. That said, even for the defense, there are a lot of positive to take. Look, we finished this match. We have no injuries. We always have to come up. We have to consider the context that we have lost our starting pair. Right, Jiku is out. Salisu is out.
Oh no!
These guys have less than what? Apart from Baba, who is the most experienced, the other guys who came in, Marvin hadn't played. The other 2 have less than 10 or around there about caps. So this was a very inexperienced defensive lineup. Gideon is also a bit experienced. Then you have the contact hours. The coach had just about 2 training sessions to put them through their paces. So contact hours was minimal. And then you have the playing style. Now I appreciate what Rahman has said, but let's not be under any illusion. The coach is not coming here to play champagne football. He never has, and he's made it very clear. In fact, when he spoke at the press conference, what he said, and I quote, he said, the game is not about ball possession. It's about having the skill to put the ball in the net, defend your goal, and win the game.
Okay.
This is a winning business.
One goal project.
I don't care. I just want to win. End quote. That's exactly what he said. And we know from his track record that that's exactly how he is going to play.
Okay.
Now let me run you through the defensive stats. And perhaps it's because, yes, we spend a lot of time defending. Balls recovered, 36. The blocks were 6. Tackles were 13. Clearances attempted, 26. I think the coach defended perhaps too deep, even if that was the plan. But I could see a clear method to the so-called madness in terms of how he played, when he made the changes in the second half to take advantage of where the game was going and then score. So he really did want to put this defense through their paces. And for a long time, the guys had to prove this. And I'm sure this will be refined further. And that's how come I'll score them high marks for not conceding in the first half. I think Jerome played well. Ajete and Senaya were my guys because Ajete has been under such criticism since the Austria and Germany game because of the error that he made. And people were beginning to typecast him as an error-prone player. So to come out of this will give him a lot of confidence going into the World Cup. Senaya was making his debut and he played as if he had always been part of the team.
He was lively.
That was impressive.
Very
and it
lively.
shows us exactly what can be. Now let me talk briefly about the left side situation. Gideon had a torrid time. He had a crazy time because of Dan James, coming at him. But I think it was because very often he was isolated. Now, in judging the defense, you have to put premium on the extent to which, when you are playing defensively, the players who play in front of the lateral defense liaise with them and protect them. Gideon didn't get a lot of protection from Edu Kwabena, who was playing out of position, and it exposed him, and Elisha didn't cover him too much. In the second half, when this was rectified, you saw that he played much better, and it was the same, when Baba came on. So I would back Senaya to start on this evidence. Of course, it's the coach in NFL, they call it running the play. He'll be running the play over and over to get them to perfect how he wants them to defend, because he has said that the players were they listen to his instructions, and that's part
All right.
of his high points from this.
Let's take
Senegal starts on the right.
Senaya starts
I
on the
think
right.
Ajete comes in as well. Yeah,
And-
Ajete comes in as well. Jerome or Moment, one of them, definitely as starters. And on the left-hand side, I would start Gideon on the evidence of what I've seen. But as you would know, Bernard, as we go through this, all through the pitch, the coach will be faced with a critical decision between experience and youthfulness. But this is the World Cup we are talking about. So those decisions will have to be well considered, because you need a fine blend of them. And I've heard people say drop the old guards and play the young people, but it's not as cut and dried as people make it out to be.
So Gideon Mensah is much younger, but Baba Rahman has more experience. Let me deal with the midfield situation. It seems to me as if the coach had sort of two defensive midfielders in his approach. What do we learn about his approach in the midfielders he selected, and what does that tell us about who he would choose? I'm still with you, Sammy.
So quite clearly, he wanted a very strong screen that plays in front.
Yeah.
Hence the Elijah Partey situation. Partey has to be wrapped in wool. Yesterday he was a bit off pace. I don't know whether it has to do with fitness.
Yeah.
But whatever they are working on him on would have to be enhanced, so that at least he gets to an appreciable level of fitness and sharpness by the time we play. Because he's our most experienced players, and despite what everybody is saying, he has to start. The question is who will complement him, and in what order they will play. Does he play a more advanced 8, or he plays as the 6, or vice versa? And that's the question to be answered. And as it stands now, based on the totality of what we saw, if he's playing as the guy who sits in front of the defense, the best person to complement him will have to be Caleb. But if he's going to play a more advanced role, you would want somebody who is robust, who will sit in front of the defense. But the other big question is the passing out of that midfield, because that's where a lot of our attack will start from. So you need somebody who can spray the ball around very quickly, because the coach intends to play quick transitions. So he has somebody who gets the pass, sent it out to the wide players for them to be able to transition on the counter to get Ghana goals. So those will be the questions facing the coach in the central part of the midfield.
I see. Jerome, midfield, what did you think?
Well, for me, it should be either Sibo or Caleb.
Kwesi Sibo?
Yeah,
or
Kwesi
Caleb
Sibo,
Irenchi?
or both starting.
Why?
I know Partey has been one of our best players, but I've been wondering whether he still has, or he is in the right frame of mind to give us what we want. If he can deal with that, or we can deal with that, Sami makes a point that whatever they are doing with him in terms of his fitness must be quick. If we can get him in that right state, then on any day he should be part of the starting lineup. But you see, key to having our midfield, it's perhaps having the entire team understand what game management means. Because it's very difficult to watch a football game where you lead very early and then towards the end, almost at the end, where you think the game should be wrapped up,
You go and concede.
you go and concede. That for me, it's
It's a bad habit.
Yeah, it's not an attitude you can take to the World Cup, because, like Rahman was saying, this was a friendly game. The Welsh will not be at the World Cup. The themes at the World Cup, right from the beginning, they're very serious ones, and maybe even if it's Panama, they'll be very serious. There are some things they won't do, so we shouldn't be doing them.
What do you think of our wingers, Fatau, Kamal Dean? Fatau has done so well for Leicester. I was a bit disappointed. He gave some Sulia, but that was all. I didn't see what I wanted to see.
In his right elements, he's the best.
He's our best winger.
Yes, because
Fatau.
I mean, on most occasions, we've loved how he runs, how he's able to cross. But they will have to put in more, because the test ahead of us is not the kind of things that you would see players like him do, where sometimes it's like so much flair, but at the end of the day, there is
no end product. Tournament starts next Thursday. Stay with us. You select us as top starting midfielders.
I think he selected his top starting midfielders yesterday in Thomas Partey and Elisha Owusu.
Okay.
What I learned was absolutely rubbish. None of them good enough for the World Cup, to be fair. I respect Thomas a lot. You know why? I think that Thomas Partey is one of the mentally strongest players we've had in recent times. Like, he was being booed around the stadium, and Thomas is going to be a very interesting case at the World Cup.
Yeah.
We don't know the state of mind he will be in, but so far, every time I see him and I speak to him, he's like, I'm just cool, like, literally. And he's going to get a lot of backing from the manager. But football-wise, I will never doubt his ability. What I doubt is his match fitness, because he hasn't played a lot of football this season at club level. And that kind of sharpness you need, because you are coming from a season where you've played just the right amount of games and your brain is sharp, your legs are light. It's not there. And if we're going to do something creative or something powerful, it's going to be from him. Elisha has had a good season, but Auxerre team were fighting relegation throughout all season. So that tells you the level at which they were playing. And Jerome made a point. Listen, the World Cup, Michael, to give you a clearer idea, it's a level higher than the Champions League. Yeah, that's the level we're going. It's on every dimension: media attention, physical level,
motivation. Everybody's motivated
at the highest level.
Yeah.
It's the World Cup. So if you're going with these players, and I struggle to see the other alternatives, because we haven't been fortunate as a country. The loss of somebody like Kudus, it takes away not just activity and goals, but it takes away personality.
Yeah.
In the past, Ghana, if Ghana wasn't good at all, not our midfield, that was the engine of our team. And if you go through the whole team, I think that it's the lightest midfield we've ever got. And we need to go back to
That's true.
How have we arrived at here? Is this Ghana's midfield? Bernard, what can you learn from that kind of midfield? Our most creative player in any competitive game would have been sent off in that first half. Elisha did all the running, but I struggled to find maybe a defense splitting pass from him. We didn't have that. Sibo, he has his critics, but he has his limitation as a player. Bonsuba is exciting and young, but he plays in Saudi Arabia. He's so young to put the shoulders of this country's experts at the World Cup on him. So I'm struggling to be positive. I'm sorry. I didn't learn nothing that really got me saying, okay, yeah, we can do this. I didn't.
Wow. So what about the wingers? Fatau had a decent season at Leicester, even though they were relegated. Is he a bright spark in midfield or on the right wing? Should we have some hope there?
But at this stage, you are playing a 4-4-2.
Yeah, from what I saw yesterday, I thought that was what we did right. We had two wingers.
Yeah, he most likely played like that, but more like a 4-5-1 because he would want to defend. But let me associate myself with what Rahman said, which is that we need a lot of humility about where we are as a team. And one of the key considerations for the coach, from what I saw yesterday, is not just what you do on the ball, but what you do off the ball. He needs legs that can work. If they play the entire 90 minutes, chasing the balls, pushing the opponent and making things very difficult for them. And that's influenced some of the players that he's called. So on the wingers, Fatau is the most experienced of our wingers on the outside. He's been playing since 2021 at the age of 17. And he's got the record to prove for it because, he's just come off a season where he had 9 and 7 in terms of assists and goals. So he's got the goals to show. He didn't have the best of games yesterday. And I thought that sometimes the decision making where he wanted to replicate the cutting and score from a distance rather than pass did not help. I've seen the hype around that 360 or 120 180 that Ghanaians have done over Nyama, but he still has to be eased in. He played less than 45 minutes yesterday. So on the back of that, I would start Fatau, but I'll expect him to complement Senaya better because yesterday they didn't play at on the same wavelength too well. And then on the other side, if he decides to play 3 attackers up front, because that could be the dynamic, any day, unless he decides to play Semenyo in the middle, he will have a say as far as the left-hand side is concerned. Either him, we know Kamaldeen definitely will not start because he didn't he didn't impress anybody. So for me, it's Fatau on the right for me.
Let's talk about the attackers. I'll stay with you and I'll move around. So Semenyo definitely starts, but how does he use him? Striker, winger, 9. What does he do with him? 10. What does he do with Semenyo?
That's the big question because of what he offers. I should still think you should play him from his strongest position, which is coming from the wings, which is why I would play him on the left-hand side, cutting in. But then if you played 3 attackers, that allows them to interchange positions. For me, the bigger question is what you do with Jordan. Yesterday, he played up front alone. He didn't have the pace. He tried to press. He had one success when there was a turnover from the goalkeeper. But largely, there wasn't much pressure on the Wales defense when he was pressing. And those are his limitations. He's slow at the stage. And because he can create and he has skill so much, I would rather play him behind the main striker. Because let me tell you, Inaki came on in the second half and did something that Jordan didn't really do much. Inaki stayed up front and pressed better. He had a few offside, but when the ball was played, he was in position.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Jordan was doing a cane. Sometimes he dropped too deep, and when we wanted to attack, there was way too much space to cover in terms of sprinting. So I'll play Jordan behind whoever is going to play as the top player. The alternative being playing Brandon Thomas Asante in that hole, which is the number 10 position. It's either him or Jordan. But because I think the coach will start Jordan, I think Jordan should start in that place. And then you have Semenyo on the other side.
All right.
If you have Fatawu up there, that's your front three. But we should play with a recognizable center forward. And we've seen that Edu Kwabena played out of position. We didn't see much of him. But if he's available, I would start either him or Inaki as the target men. And then have Jordan behind them. And then Semenyo flanking them together with Fatawu and Nyama as alternatives.
I will do another show with you guys next week on predictions. So let's just stay with the team because I would. So Jerome, who are the best attackers for you?
I associate myself very well with what my brother Sammy has said, except to look at it from this way. Look, it's always the case that Semenyo, Iñaki, wherever they play, they do well there. They come to the Black Star setup.
They don't do well.
And the environment changes. They are not able to give the sort of contributions or even goals you would want them to score.
Yeah.
And that for me is the issue. Is it going to be the same or it will change? If you go deep, you find out that it's always about would they get the sort of contributions they get elsewhere, which makes us see them as very good. The reason they don't do well as they do elsewhere is that they don't have the support.
The quality is not there. They don't get the support.
And I think we should look at that instead of trying to make it look like these guys are good anywhere they play. When they come to Ghana,
they struggle.
So
the coach has to solve that problem.
Yes.
Rahman, will Semenyo use this tournament to cement his position as one of the world's best players? He's in the Free-FA top players list in England. Clearly, that counts for something, right? Will this be Semenyo's World Cup, Rahman?
He has to. He's Ghana's biggest, star. The hopes of the country is relying on him. And if I was the manager, I would just go to him and say, Antoine, where do you want to play?
Correct.
Because top managers need to build their team around their most important player. You don't sacrifice your most important player, somebody that can hurt other teams, just to complement other people. So I'll speak to Ant. I think if they ask Ant, do you know what he will say? He will say he wants to play on the left, like Batel said, because he plays on the right at Man City. But at Man City, they just want him to hold the whip and cross the ball so Erling Haaland will score. But after he played his best football at Bournemouth, on the left, cutting in and coming in and being dangerous and powerful. So it will work. The centre forward, of course, Jordan Ayew. It's hard to judge Jordan because I thought he's had a shocking of a season. But look at his numbers at national team, and you're like, oh, he's literally the main reason why we qualified for the war. He scored a lot of. So that's so weird to look at. He's not doing well at club level. His team went to Division 2 or something. And he's quite really very still important to us. That for me tells us how really bad our national team is. Then the issue about where Fatawu plays, for me, is straight. Nyoma, it's funny. People are rating Nyoma, and I just want us to take it easy because it's totally different when you come in as a sub.
Than when you start.
And then Nyoma played 90 minutes. Like you come in as a sub, there's adrenaline, there's just so much on goal. But when you start games, there's a game plan. You need to keep the game plan. You need to keep your energy. And you see, that's how we do. We build them so up. And then he has one bad game, and then everybody goes like that. So for me, 4-3-3, but compact with a good plan. The only tweak we need to do is that whoever he picks, there should be more than just two people running. Because Antoine Semenyo hinted that in one of his interviews. He's always running, too much work to do. By the time he gets to the box,
he's tired.
There's no option, and he's tired.
We need more legs in the team. Rahman,
more legs to help.
Look, this has been great. I think from what I'm hearing, we have to continue this on another day. This has been really good. I've been speaking to Jerome Otri, who is the former editor of Kotoko Express. Now he speaks for the Presbyterian Church. He's not speaking for them here. Rahman Osman works for the Sun newspaper in the UK, and Sami Bartels is a telecom analyst and also a sports writer. Thank you for watching. It's 8 days. We'll be back with more football.